of Allah, of the Creator, have deviated from His way, out of His love and His mercy. Out of His love and His mercy for us, that whenever the people have deviated from the straight path, for those of us who are present, who believe in Scripture, whether it's the Bible or it's the Holy Quran, for those who are present here today and those in the world who believe in Scripture, and I emphasize that because if you don't believe in Scripture, then it has no bearing. And I say that respectfully, because even if we had an atheist, the atheists follow our Scripture. But whenever the people have deviated out of His love and mercy for us, He's always raised someone up from among us, or He's always sent someone to the people to bring them back to His straight path. That's the character of a righteous and a just Creator. I use the word Creator because I don't like using the word God. That's Greek culture. And I think it's an insult to our Creator that we continue to identify His relevance in our life by using a name and a language that actually dishonors Him, she, or it, whatever the Creator is. When I use the word Allah, that's just Arabic for the Most High. That's it. I want to try to be, there's a lot of things going on right now. I greet you all in peace. War, blessings and peace is my greeting. I say that because it's traditional to say Assalamu alaikum. If you're a Muslim and you greet another Muslim, even a non-Muslim, you greet them Assalamu alaikum. It simply means peace be unto you. Jesus uttered the same words, peace be with you. If it's said in Hebrew, it's Shalom Aleichem. For those who practice other scripts like the Metanetta, Hotep. For those among the Pan-Africans community, Habana. What's happening? What's the good news? What's the good news? In building Masjid 47 Militia Coalition, I'm taking my time because, again, my spirit is a little heavy. Allow me to take you through, because we got work to do today. We're going to go out, we're going to feed. Our mission starts, our active mission starts today. That's just the way Allah, that's just the way the Creator deemed fit. Quite a few people were expected to come today. That didn't happen, but we're not discouraged, we're not disappointed. We ordered a lot of food for our people, but it's not going to waste. We're going to go and bless people who are homeless and hungry in this city with a healthy, delicious, fulfilling meal. No cold cuts, no potato chips, nothing processed, but something that we actually order for ourselves. This week's flyer read, allow me to read it. I want our brother here to understand what you've been invited to and who you're in the midst of. This week's invite is read, the flyer. The black community in Jacksonville has been deceptively, criminally, exploitingly, defaultingly, traitorously, and callously misrepresented by compromised, arrogant, and spineless black leadership for too long. Religious, social, and political organizations, clergy, and officials have profited and lived well in failing black people while pretending to have our best interests. It's past time for something new. Masjid 47 Militia Coalition is that something new. I have gone in the scriptures, there's a story of Hagar. Hagar, it's recorded that she traveled to and fro between the mountains, between the hills. All of this has a spiritual and a symbolical meaning. I'm going to explain to you the relevancy of Hagar to me. In the scripture, Hagar was running between the hills, the mountains. Right? The mountains represented powers, governments. She had been exiled, abandoned, betrayed, but she was with child. As she ran between the mountains of this desert, she finally, after crying out to her Lord for an answer to her prayers, to her condition, I'm going to give you the short version. She finally became still, and she gave birth to a child. And the child that she gave birth to was the answer to her prayer. So the meaning to that, the story of Hagar, is that many times we run between governments, powers, entities, looking for an answer to our prayers, looking for someone to change our condition, when the Creator has already embedded in us the ability to be the answer to our own problems. But we're running to and fro. And sometimes if we just be still, we'll realize that the answer to our prayer, the answer to the condition in which we are seeking divine intervention to change is right at our own feet. It's inside of us. But we're not listening. We're not being still enough. I have, in comparing myself to Hagar, I've rubbed elbows with different religious people in this clergy in this city, with politicians in this city, with organizations in this city. So when on the flyer it reads that all these organizations have failed black people, I'm going to keep saying that because it's the truth. Some of you heard me speak last week, and I addressed the fact that people may be offended when you say that organizations have failed. Because we have personal relationships and we say, well, I know this church, or I know this mosque, or I know this such and such, and they doing good things, and they doing this, and they doing that. And to that I say, hand clap. Because look at the condition of the people. And the condition of the people in Jacksonville, it bears witness against all that all of these organizations claim they're doing. Right? I'm going to fast forward. Another time we're going to get right into the spiritual meaning and mission of Masjid 47 Militia. You who are present besides brother here, Tony, you already know that the mission is to bring everything together, bring all the families together, bring these tribes together. People talk coalition, but there's a science to coalition. It's a science to coalition. One thing that I'm not going to do, we're going to build this organization, this sisterhood, this brotherhood, we're going to build it right. Masjid 47 Militia Coalition is going to be everything. It's going to be everything that the Nation of Islam is promised to do for black people, that the church is promised to do for black people, what the masjid is promised to do for black people. what all of these social and political organizations promise to do for black people. Mosque 47 Militia Coalition is the answer to everything that Cure Violence has promised to do for black people. In building this right, we must be honest, because I've been a part of deceitfulness for too long in these organizations. And all they have done is robbed, exploited, stole, misled, misguided. See, they all have deviated. The church has deviated from the teachings of Jesus. Muslims have deviated from the Quran. The Black Panther Party, the new Black Panther Party, has deviated from the teachings of the original Black Panther Party. Those who are part of gang street organizations, Bloods, Crips, Vice Lords, GDs, Gangster Disciple, El Rookin, Latin King, Four Corner Hustlers, they have deviated from the original meaning and purpose of the street organization. We frown upon them now, but in their origin, they were better, and they were a better representation of black men in the community, but they have deviated, and we judge them by the deviation. That makes sense? We judge them by the deviation, and that's just like kicking somebody when they're down. Now, when I say that every organization has failed, I'm going to say this to you, Brother Tony, respectfully. Understand this comes from a good spirit, a good place. But it's a reason why Sister brought you here, and it's a reason that you represent, that I see when I saw you walk in, I knew what you represent. I don't know if you know who I am. Not that I'm anybody important. The same team and institution and organization that you worked for, when they started in Jacksonville, I was hired. Okay? The same t-shirt you wearing, I helped design. I was a supervisor of the East Side team. Okay? Let me talk to Brother for a minute. May I? Have you read the assessment for Cure Violence? You read the entire assessment?
Like 15 pages, but I think you read like the outline of it. They gave us the outline.
Let me say this to you, brother. I walked away for two reasons. And please don't misconstrue this as singling the brother out or making you feel uncomfortable. But this is something that we're building and we're not going to.
We can't sugarcoat it.
Fraud is not acceptable in here. When Cure Violence first came to Jacksonville, and I was hired as a supervisor for the Noah's Ark, East Side team, I didn't believe that. I thought it was a waste of taxpayers' money to pay $7,000 to do an assessment for a group that come from Chicago to come and help Jacksonville deal with Jacksonville's problems when Chicago can't deal with its own. So I felt that it was hypocrisy and it was political motivation to have this outside group who coming from gang capital to come here to Jacksonville and to help us solve our problem when you can't even maintain your own house, Chicago. I felt that the $7,000 they used, they could have gave to me or any other pre-existing organization in the city, and it was a slap in the face to brothers and organizations in the city to have somebody come into our backyard and our front yard and our porch to help us deal with our problems. Right? When anytime you have outsiders come out to come and fix a problem, you have basically taken the resolution that the problem can't come from, or the solution can't come from home, and that you've given up. So now you need outside help. JSO would never allow St. Johns County to come into Duval County and fix Duval County's problem. So I was honest with them when they interviewed me. I said, this is my position. But spiritually, brother, I believe that there's a scripture where it says in the Quran that the devil plans and Allah plans and Allah the best of plans. So even though I know in my heart, don't believe, I know in my heart that the sheriff don't give a damn about black people in Jacksonville or the murders taking place. The mayor don't give a damn about black people in Jacksonville or the murder that's taking place. Nor does the state attorney. Right? For those of us who have lived in Jacksonville, I told them, I said, I don't know where y'all have been the last few years, but all the murder is not taking place in the east side and the north side. All the murder is taking place on the west side and the south side and the north side, particularly. East side is a self-contained community. For those who know anything about Jacksonville, people come from out east into out east and cause problems and leave. You understand? The east side is very different than every other part of Jacksonville. And speaking with God and Scott through his own confession that it was political motivations. The reason they chose Florida Ave wasn't because there was murder and an intense influx of violence on 8th Philip Randolph. There was a shooting a few years back in front of the laundromat. That was too close for white people's comfort. You understand, bro? So because they're doing a very subtle form of regentrification out east, because you have white investors want to come into the city of Jacksonville, and they're pushing black people out east further back. And those who don't choose to go, they're finding ways to make them go. So it's a very subtle form of regentrification that's taking place to force everybody on 8th Philip Randolph further back. It's the same thing you see out here on Main Street. So it wasn't because, but these investors are not going to come to Jacksonville if we can't deal with our murder and our violence and all the gunplay that's taking place. So something needed to be done to solve the problem, or to put a blanket over the problem. So my involvement, brother, was that I felt that even though I know they don't care about black people, they don't care about black lives, if they're going to pay us to do for our people what we should be doing for free and doing on our own, then I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity, because myself, Brother Lawrence, Sister Rosemary were already in the streets, but we didn't have the finances to fund us. You understand? I walked away from Kill Violence for 2 reasons. More reasons, and because I felt that I didn't feel I knew, and I know that my freedom was most important to me than anything else. So from in-house corruption, in-house politics, in-house criminal activity, and the exploitation of black people, I walked away from a salary. Again, I was a supervisor. Okay? There's people here who can bear witness, so you know I'm not lying. I can tell you the whole program. Right? Okay? Now, the information on the back of these, I helped design this. The logo that you wear on the little blue shirt, I designed. I just gave it to Jacqueline Scott. And I put my team's name on that. Listen, we did this for you. This came from us. But I designed that logo with the shoppers and the shirt. I just gave credit to our team because I'm a team player. And when I walked away, I didn't ask for the logo back. I'm laying something on you, brother, so you can understand. I believe that a person should, you're going to be a part of something, know what it is. Right? Brother Muhammad walked away for more reasons. Those who stayed, they stayed for their reasons. You understand? So, some brothers gotta take care of their family, they gotta do what they gotta do. You know, so, but Cure violence works like this. And I've got to show you. This entire room represents your zone. This entire room represents your zone. But your target area is that bar. This is your target area right here. This is the only thing that the administration of Cure Violence is concerned with, the violence that takes place in your target area. This is where the criminality and the exploitation and the deceit and the fraud of Cure Violence. I say this respectfully. The language that's used in the media is that the violence is down in our target area. And we're being successful because we haven't had a shooting in 2 months in our target area. That's only the bar. But the money you receive from taxpayers and the city was given to cover the entire zone, to bring safety and bring the shooting and violence down into this entire zone. But now we focus on the target area. So now you can stand in front of the media and you can use deceptive intelligence and say that we haven't had a shooting in our target area in 2 months. The program is working. But inside this zone, you just had 97 killers over here. You just had 58 shootings over here. You just had 37 stabbings over here in your zone. But you're being told that don't worry about that. Just bring the numbers down in the target. That's all we're concerned with is the target area. Don't worry about them 98 killers and them families over there. In the meantime, outside of our zone, we just had 82 killers on the west side. So the position that I was in, my brother, was, man, brother, we ain't had no killing over here. Man, we just had 37 shooters on the west side. We just had 19 killers on the south side. Bro, yeah, ain't nothing happening here, but man, you got us here to hit the streets. Let us hit the streets and go help our people. No, you don't want to do that. And this is what we're being told about ones who claim to be men of God. I'm feeding you. I'm feeding you, brother. Respectfully. Please understand it's respectfully. That one who would claim to be a man of God would have the mentality, don't worry about them shootings over there. Don't even worry about that. Y'all just focus on the target area. Because if you go out there on the west side and solve violence on the west side, and you go out to the south side and you bring the shooters on the south side, then when it's time to get more money and we can build, and we can spread Cure Violence, the city's not going to give us money to set up a Cure Violence site on the south side or the west side because y'all done jumped the gun and ran over there because things was quiet on the east side. So y'all went to the west side and started putting out work for free. Y'all putting out fires for free. So now next year when the budget comes, they're not going to give us money for the west side because there ain't no problem on the west side because y'all solved the problem not getting paid. And that's the fraud, my brother. People dying in Jacksonville. We just had 55 shootings, bro, in 23 days. A very dear friend and sister has always advised me don't get consumed with that. It angers me the most that I put my face in that organization. So, brother, it's time every organization, and I don't know you, but I pray your intention is good. It's your intention. You know, Jacksonville has been a city that's been, black people have been misrepresented for too long. So, Cure Violence is just one of the latest. A lot of organizations didn't support Cure Violence. It wasn't because they didn't believe. A lot of them was upset because they didn't get the money. You understand? It wasn't that Mad Dads or Northside Coalition didn't believe, or that Reverend Gundy's organization didn't believe. They were just upset that they didn't get the money. The money. See? So, when we know that black people are dying and then we have COVID-19, I'm going to wrap this up. But I want to make sure I'm laying something on you, bro. I'm just laying something on you. Cure violence is to be a replacement for JSO. It's supposed to be that last stop, that if ones are getting ready to, if a situation is getting ready to escalate, you are to be a preventive organization. The reason why I actually had you read the document is because, or the assessment, is because in the assessment, my brother, it reads that it's really insulting that this program is supposed to be able to predict when the next shooting is getting ready to take place. I can pull it up for you on my phone if I had time, or if you still here, I can show it to you. And that's almost insulting. Because the promise was that in the assessment, and when I was there, no one read it but me. The promise was that due to the collection of data, the data which they used to get money for Cure Violence last year, brother, it came from data that was from 2016 to 2018. So the data was already old. And you can't use data that's 2, 3, 4 years old when the murder rate in Jacksonville changed from 2018 to 2019, from 2019 to 2020. So you can't use old data when the data changed. But to say that this organization is able to predict when the next shooting and act of violence is going to take place, the organization should really be sued right now. Because it's really to say that, well, why didn't you stop the 16-year-old last week from getting murdered at the Wawa? Why didn't you stop all of these senseless killing that is taking place in this city? When your organization, according to what's on paper, is able to predict when the next shooting, the next act, how insane is that? How deceptive is that? It's really unfair to the organization. It's something that's either they created it themselves, and I have to say they did. Because this is what they said that they're capable of doing, is to be able to predict when the next killing, the next shooting is going to take place. So being that all of these shootings and killings have taken place since Cure Violence has been in this city, then Cure Violence should be held accountable that you didn't stop. But Cure Violence is not God. Cure Violence is not Allah. Cure Violence is not the Most High. So Cure Violence doesn't have the ability to predict when the next act is going to take place. So, March 47 Militia. My name is Brother Muhammad. And when you go back and speak to some of the brothers, you know, I pray they have something good to say for the good I did. And anything that's bad, all praise be to Allah. But everything that I'm saying to you, I can say to every one of them. And I hope that there's somebody that's honest enough among them who's stand up and say, if he said it, and that's what it was. And Muhammad will speak the truth in regards to whom, what, or when. You know? So, with that being said, what we're going to do as March 47 on this one, tonight we're going to go out and we're going to feed our people. Our people not just hungry on holidays. They're not just hungry on special occasions. They're hungry every day. And every day they're homeless. They're homeless. Some, not saying anyone here thinks this way, may think that for me to say that every organization has failed, you have a right to say, well, what have you done? Well, this is our third meeting. Don't judge us on the build-up. judge us 90 days from now. Judge us next week because we want us tonight to put in some work. Every organization, you have organizations, religious, social, and political, that have been in this city for years. And right now, with this being our third meeting, we're doing better than some who have been here for 40, 50, 60 years. Now some may say, Muhammad, that seems a little irrational, brother. Y'all don't really have nothing. Y'all ain't did nothing. But they ain't did nothing, so we even. They ain't did nothing and we ain't did nothing, so we even. You know? But see, the difference is they got a head start, and they ain't did nothing. You know? For the same, as long as Cuba has been here, and the amount of murder they haven't prevented, we haven't prevented nothing either, so we even. We even. See, people allow their visions to be destroyed by the negatives and the non-support that we as black people give to organizations. See, I'm not disappointed that this room is not full. We know that every successful organization that we see in the world didn't start off with all the membership they have. But we as black people, and just walk with me, please, y'all, walk with me. I watched Harriet today. For those of you who watched Harriet, who saw the movie, when Harriet went back on one of her trips, her missions to free some of our brothers and sisters, and when she walked out into the water by herself, there was a few of the ones that she went to free, they stood back up on the little mountain or the little edge, right, on the bank, waiting to see if she was going to drown, if it was possible, if she was going to walk on water like Jesus. And when they saw that she stopped and she had her gun up and then she kept walking, and they saw how far she was going, then they knew that it was possible for them. That's how organizations are. So you're never going to get a full membership in the beginning, but there's plenty sitting out here right now waiting for Masjid 47 Militia to become what it's decreed to be. And when they see it rise and they see it become successful, ones are going to come. Now, we're going to say y'all wasn't with us in the beginning. No, we're not going to say that. Again, no organization that's successful and has devout members within it today, those devout members didn't start with it. Only a few